Hi, I'm Izzy, and today is day 2 of our beginners yoga series. We'll be utilizing a chair, and you can use any chair that's available to you. Just make sure that it's sturdy, and we won't really be sitting in it, but we will be utilizing it as our prop. At the end of our practice, you can choose to sit in the chair for your resting posture or rest on the floor with options to use the chair as well. The chair is a prop, so in case we have injuries, maybe we don't have the blocks as a prop, or if you are plus size or a little bit larger and you don't feel comfortable with the constant bending and folding. Now, injuries might be things like a back that doesn't appreciate all those forward folds, or maybe your wrists don't like being on the floor all the time, or maybe you just don't feel comfortable up and down. So there could be a variety of different reasons. I still enjoy doing a chair practice as well. So you don't have to have injuries or any other reasons to do it except that you like it. Today we're going to start with the chair, with the back of the chair facing towards us. And we're going to place our hands on the chair, but we do have to be careful not to pull on the chair because the chair will fall. So as we place our hands, it's just elevating our hands. So again, if we were to pull on it, the chair would move, the hands are just placed on top, so you can move as close to the chair as you need to. Our bottom is dropping towards the back, and we can let our head hang heavy. And here we're feeling the shoulders, and this is essentially what we would be happening in our downward facing dog. So the shoulders are pulled back and down, and you can even do some squeezes here. So squeezing and tensing the body and then softening. Or maybe you'd like to just rest here and breathe. Maybe this is enough. So you take it to what's comfortable for you. And just feel your breath either way. And you can pedal and wiggle out the hips. Wiggling is always allowed. And we'll slowly start to walk ourselves in and loosen ourselves up. Now you can utilize the back of the chair the way we did. However, I'm going to use the base of the chair because this is a little bit more sturdy and it still is elevating us up off the floor quite a bit. So we'll be doing a plank, and if you want to experiment with this, you can. Before we start moving into this. So my hands are out to the side, the fingers are off, and so it creates this almost fist-like movement. It's a little bit more gentle on the wrists. And then your plank can be this forward lean, or you might take it back a little further. Your bottom can be up a little bit if you need it to be, but what we really want to do is open up the collarbone, and you'll start to feel this tightening through the core. And just breathe. Again, we'll do what we just did for that first one as we push back and we have our downward facing dog. And you can bend your knees as much as you need to, breathe. And then soften the elbows, so we don't want to lock the elbows, we don't want to lock the knees. And then we'll lift the chest, inhale. As we exhale, we'll step forward. As we inhale, we'll come up using the thighs if needed, or you can just trace the body and reach the hands up. We sink down through the heels as we lift up, and we don't want to pull our shoulders next to the ears. We want to still keep them soft. And then as we exhale, release the breath, the hands release down. Inhale, we step back. And then exhale, we'll shift back. Inhale, lift the chest. Exhale, step forward. Inhale, guide yourself up. We'll take a minute just to catch our breath, settle in, wiggle it out, and we're going to do that 2 more times. We're going to inhale, exhale down. Inhale, step back. Exhale, shift back. Inhale, lift the chest. Exhale, step forward. Inhale, roll yourself up. So rounding and lifting. Exhale, back down. Inhale, step back. Exhale, shift back. Inhale, lift the chest. Exhale, step forward. Inhale, guide yourself up. Exhale, release it down. Inhale, step back. Exhale, shift back. Inhale, lift the chest. Exhale, step forward. Inhale, roll yourself up. And then we'll bring the hands together here. Let the hands come down. We'll tighten the belly and soften the knees. And then we'll step back into our warrior one. So this is what we practiced yesterday. So we're going to utilize the chair. So I'm going to have my right foot forward. My knee is going to hit the chair just a little bit, but it's keeping my knee over the ankle. And so I can step back with that other foot with the toe just slightly out and the heel slightly in. And I can aim and square my hips in line with the chair. And the chair will help keep me focused so that I'm not pulling back too much or pushing forward too much. Bring your hands to your hips and start to guide the hips forward, leveling the hips. And then we'll take this to a breath. So we're going to inhale, lift the chest. Exhale, round. And so we might feel the elbows start to move. Inhale and exhale. We're tucking the tailbone and pulling that belly button in. So you might feel a big stretch in that leg that's stepped back. Inhale, exhale. Inhale and exhale. And it'll start to get more and more subtle, so it's not as exaggerated. And then we start to find the center balance point. So we're slightly tucked in, but we're also slightly lifted. It does take a lot of effort, so just be careful of the breathing. So it's easy to stop breathing or just hold the breath and restrict it. So I want to keep that steady breath, and then we'll lift our hands up. And so again, we do not want to have the shoulders come up to the ears. We want to keep the shoulders relaxed, because otherwise that can cause frozen shoulder if we're tensing all the time. So we want to keep them relaxed, but holding like a heavy object. So maybe it's baby Simba. So if it's precious, we would pull inward, but it's heavy, so we want to use all the core muscles, so we're engaging. And we can look up with our eyes, breathe, keep checking in with that front knee, and a push in both feet. So we don't want just the knee pushing forward, we want to push into that front foot. Breathe. And then set your precious item down on the chair. And we're stepping back into the plank. So we're going to turn the back foot, toes are forward, stepping back, and then pushing back into that downward facing dog. Inhale, lift the chest. Exhale, step forward. And from here, we're going to place the left knee or the opposite of last time. Stepping back, and we'll position and make sure that that knee will stay bent as we step back with the back foot, toe slightly out, heel slightly in. Aim the hips forward, level the hips, and then readjust if needed with that front foot. Leveling, lifting, and then we've got the hands on the hips. We've got those elbows moving back and forth with the spine. So the chest reaching forward, the belly button pulling in. I find that in most poses, most asana postures, that we can infuse the posture with this cat-cow breath. So this inhale, lift. Exhale, tuck and tighten. And so one hip might feel a little different than the other. So like this one's a little bit harder for me to pull around, and that's okay. That's great awareness to keep in mind. And we can continue to work with it and breathe with it. Now these little imbalances are what makes us a little bit more prone to injuries. That's another reason why yoga is so great, because we can help correct and stabilize, or at least create a little bit more balance in the right and left sides of the body, so we're less prone to that injuries. And then again, we'll lift the hands, finding that slight tuck but slight lift. We're still breathing, shoulders are back and down. We might be looking up, so we start to engage the muscles of the eyes. And just notice anything you're feeling in your back. So maybe on this side you're protecting something, and maybe the back feels a little more tense. So release into the feet. And you can even give yourself this little shaky movement just to check in that you're not tensing too much. And then set your precious item down. Turn the back toe so that we do not injure the knee, and step back into your plank, and then back into your downward facing dog. Wiggling and shifting. And then we're going to put all of that together. So let's step it forward as we lift the chest. And then roll ourselves up. Inhaling up. Exhaling down. Left foot steps back. Use your thigh if needed, and you can use the chair for that knee, or you can just gauge, lifting the hands up, and then releasing the hands down. Turn the back toe, step back into your plank. Shift back into your downward facing dog. Inhale, lift the chest. Exhale, step it forward. Inhale, roll yourself up. Exhale, bring it back down. Right foot steps back, or opposite of last time. Toes slightly up, heel slightly in. Squeeze your glutes, squeeze the hips together. Use the thigh if needed. Pull yourself up like you're drawing up a big heavy blanket. And then release it back down. Turn the back toe, stepping back into your plank, and then shifting back into your downward facing dog. Wiggle, shift, move, and then lift the chest, step it forward. Roll yourself up. We're going to do that one more time on each side. Exhale, release it down. Left foot steps back. Roll yourself up. We're going to hold this time, so bend into that front knee. We're going to do this little swimming movement. So we're going to push forward on this exhale, and then inhale, swim open. You get this little wrist swirl, and again, a big exhale, like you're offering something forward. Bend into that front knee, and inhale, swim back. Exhale, push forward. Inhale. Exhale. Inhale. Exhale. And this time we'll bring the hands all the way behind the back. You can just take the tops of the hands on that low back and then lift the chest open, almost like you're a bird. Keep the chest open. See if you can pull the elbows closer and closer towards each other, and the hands might even make a little triangle on the back. Bend into that front knee and take a deep breath. And let the hands come forward. Squeeze that front glute. Turn the back toe, step back. Shift back, deep breath. Lifting the chest, and then stepping forward. And you might see this is why I have this on a yoga mat so the chair doesn't slide. Bend the knees softly. And again, we're pulling and tucking the tailbone. I'm squeezing all of the muscles to assist me so that not just one group of muscle is doing all the work. They're all working together. And then exhale, hands come down. This time I have my right foot stepping back, or opposite of last time. Toe out, heel in, bend the front knee. Gathering myself up, lifting. And again, I'm gonna lower down and using those hands. So exhale, push forward. Inhale, swim back. Exhale, push forward. And get the leg involved, that front foot. So as you push forward, it's almost like you're swimming forward. And as you push back, we feel that back foot, but the front leg is still strong. Exhale. Inhale. Exhale. So really start to feel the heart. Put some energy, put some emotion into it, this big release. Inhale, open. Exhale, push forward. Inhale, big loud breaths are very useful. And then we'll swim the hands all the way back to that lower back. Again, you can use the tops of the hands, or maybe this time you'd like to have the heel, the palm of the hand, pushing on that low back as we pull the elbows together, sticking the chest out, deep breathing. Bend into that front knee, looking up. And we really want to work the neck muscles, so we don't want to just drop or cave into the neck. We want to engage and lengthen, and then reaching strong through that chin, so we'll feel all the neck muscles pushing and opening. And release. Squeeze that front glute as you lean forward. Turn the back toe, and then stepping back, shifting back, settling back, deep breath. And then walking yourself forward. Good. And then from here, we can wiggle, we can shake, you can rock, you can roll. We're going to take the toes out, the heels in, the knees will bend and they stay with the toes. So if your toes are out really far and then the knee tries to go, it's not going to feel good on that knee. It's not healthy for the knee. So the knee always goes with the toes. Use the chair, and as you drop your bottom, this might be enough. You might already feel it here. Maybe you drop a little lower, and so you can drop the elbows in. Maybe you sink really low, and maybe you make some little adjustments. You can heel toe it in, and you can sink low. You can also utilize your block here, so you can place a block under your bottom. So we really want to get this release. And just breathe. And we're just breathing. We can keep adjusting if needed. You might even squeeze the cheeks and then relax. You might shift the weight and get a little rock. And then we'll push ourselves into the chair. Make sure that you don't pull on the chair or it could move. So we push up and we're lifting up and squeezing. And then bring yourselves up. We're gonna come into chair pose next as we take a little twist. You can use the chair behind your bottom, which is what I suggest until you get used to it. So that way you can feel the weight in the heels and your bottom's reaching back towards the back of the chair, so you're really extending back. Now this can put a lot of pressure in the lower back, so we really want to practice squeezing in through the belly, and this is a good habit to help strengthen up and support that lower back as well. The hands can come out in the front, they can come up to the top. If you have a hard time feeling this engagement of the hands, you can use a block and hold a block. And so as we're here, we're gonna sit back more, pushing the bottom, and then we're gonna take our twist to the side. And so you can utilize the block here. You can also put one hand on the outside and open up, or bring the hand behind, and it's a twist, so you're breathing. Try to open up the chest, and you're gonna feel a tightness with this exhale. And we're trying to squeeze the belly. Squeezing the belly is gonna help with elimination and squeezing all of those vital organs. Inhale, reach yourself back up. And then exhale, take it over to the other side. Deep breaths, open shoulders. Sitting back. And then bring yourself up. Doing good. We're gonna come back to that little squat one more time. Toes are out, heels are in. Letting yourself release down. And you might be getting out of breath. I'm a little out of breath. Of course, I'm talking while I'm doing this. Allow yourself to breathe. That's what we want. We want these deep breathing. We can get almost a cardio sensation just from this gentle yoga practice. And then from here, we're coming down to the floor. So you can do that a couple different ways. You can do it very gracefully, which rarely happens. You can just bring yourself down. Now, if you did want to rest in the chair for your final posture, that's more than welcome. Or you can use the chair in another way to elevate the feet, which is really great if your feet swell up. And bringing yourself back, we can try to get the bottom as close to the chair as possible. If it doesn't get super close, no worries. And then we rest. So if you are feeling some tension or some talking coming from your lower back, That could be because we were twisting and we were moving and we were using it in a way so a lot of the blood flow has started to come into it. And that's good. We want that to happen. That's nutrients. However, you might need some still loosening. So one thing that I suggest is take one leg off, and you can use the foot on the floor and let that fall heavy. You could bring a block underneath of it. And we're just letting one hip open while the other leg stays up, and we're trying to release down through that hip. Now again, you still might feel some talking happening. Your body's speaking to you. Just allow yourself to breathe through that. You don't have to stay here for long. So we're just going to be here for 2 more breaths. And then we'll lift this leg back up, tighten the core, pulling in, and then take it over to the other side. And again, you might notice one side more than the other. And that could come from little things, just like sitting on the couch and leaning to one side all the time. Deep breaths. Relax the shoulders. And then as we bring that back up, again, squeeze, almost like you're doing a little crunch. And then we can relax. The knees can come open, maybe the feet come closer together. The palms come facing up, and we'll rest here to breathe. Just feeling your inhale, feeling your exhale. We can count the breath for a 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. And again, we will experience some discomfort in yoga, but it should never be an excruciating pain. And so if you do ever feel any pain, stop your yoga practice or find a way to lessen the discomfort. Allow yourself to settle. So sometimes the tension is tension that we're creating for ourselves, and we just don't realize this protective instinct that is occurring so intensely. Relaxing the shoulders, letting your body fall heavier and heavier, but at the same time lighter and lighter because you're releasing tension. And I won't stay here for much longer because sometimes this Savasana posture can take a lot longer time. It might take some time to get used to resting. However, as we proceed, if you want to stay here longer, always feel free to do that as well. As we come out of this, I'm going to start to roll to one side. Take a little pause, take a breath, and then find the hands on the floor and begin to push yourself up. Pushing yourself up. We find ourselves in a resting posture, and we're just softening through the body. We'll practice our so hum breath again. So let's inhale through the nose for so, just imagining that word, and then exhale, relaxing that jaw, this hum. So and hum. So the words actually have no meaning, but it represents I am. Being in the present moment, letting go. There's nowhere to be, no one to be, just here, just now. Releasing the shoulders, relaxing the elbows, and we're just gonna let one ear drop over to the side. Take a deep breath. So hum. So hum. Inhaling the head back up, and then exhaling it over to the other side. So hum. Releasing that jaw is super important for letting go. Not only does it help us release, but it also relaxes the hips more. Inhaling the head up. And then exhaling the chin towards the chest, just as much as it feels comfortable. So you don't have to let it all the way go if your neck does not like that. Try to keep the rest of the body still, so just the chin coming towards the chest. And then inhaling yourself back up. And then we'll spread the fingers wide, bringing our thumb to index, thumb to middle, thumb to ring, thumb to pinky. We'll bring them back again, thumb to ring, thumb to middle, thumb to index, bringing them all together. Inhale, reaching the hands up, bring the hands into prayer. Prayer comes down to heart. Taking another deep breath. And then bowing to your higher, wiser self. The light in me honors the light in you. Together we share the same light. Together we are equal. Namaste. Thank you so much for practicing day 2 of the beginner yoga series. I hope you enjoyed it, and I hope that you'll join me tomorrow for day 3. Of course, feel free to repeat day 1 over and over until you feel comfortable, and the same with each video. They're there for you. They're there for you to build your confidence so that you feel comfortable practicing on your own or joining in a group class. I'm Izzy Nalley, and you can find my services at IzzyNalley.com. You can find coaching packages for life mapping and nutrition and customized yoga just for you with my Balanced Goddess program, and you can schedule a free chat to talk with me. I invite you to do that so that you can really get a free session with figuring out where it is in your life that you really need to focus on, and that's at balancedgoddesschat.com. Thank you. Namaste.